Give me 1 second. I'm finishing up a phone call.
No problem.
Good evening, everyone.
Hey, good evening. How you doing?
Good. How are y'all?
I'm okay. I'm okay. He is on finishing up a phone call.
Oh, okay. I was like, oh, Andres is running the prayer. Okay, cool.
Nah, no, that ain't happening. So still trying to see. I was looking at the slides on my phone last week. I could kind of barely driving. I was barely reading everything. So
yeah.
I gotta get a screenshot. How you been?
I've been okay. It's start week at our school, so it's been a week.
Oh yeah.
So how have you been?
I'm okay. It's the same though. Just trying to. We're like 3 weeks in at my college gig, so that's been interesting. I had one online class and one in person, so getting adjusted.
Oh, you guys are in person this semester.
Yeah. So like most of the classes are in person, but there's some that are online. So that was a trip trying to adjust to that. So back in person again.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's just something interesting with this stuff.
Yeah. It's it's like even going in the building, having that wear a mask and talking through a mask for like 3 hours. That's a lot,
Yeah, that sounds exhausting.
And yeah, it was like, and obviously essential workers, they've been doing it forever. They ain't never stopped doing it. But I'm like, I'm not used to it. So I'm like, it's gonna be a thing.
Yeah, and it's like, how do you get used to it?
Right. Yeah. And small classroom, like 17 people in the class. It was interesting.
Oh gosh. Well, I am sorry.
Gainfully employed. I got a gig and I got happy for that. So
yeah, adjusting to the new normal.
Yep, apparently.
Save me.
Hello.
Save me.
Save
me, yeah.
Somebody save me. Surprised you were hosting tonight.
One of those days, people. One of those days.
Yeah.
Well, you've been on the move, so I'm surprised you even did it, tonight. Oh, Eastside is not with me. Right. He's in edit.
Before I started singing. All right, I did. All righty, y'all. Hello, everyone. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah. Hear us?
Can you hear us?
You can't hear us.
For some reason. Oh, here it is. I can hear you now. Okay. I couldn't hear you because I had you turn down pretty low. Mm-hmm. All right.
Eastside told me to tell you he's still in his cab coming back home from school.
Oh wow.
And his because it's like they got caught in traffic and his phone is on low percentage, so he may not sign on until later.
Okay. Well, thank you for that information. Well, we're going to kind of do a bit of a review again of what we started with last week and finish up with Orikis. So we're going to so it's going to feel a little review, but with a little more intention to kind of evolve from where we were before. So so that should be fine. That should be fine. So I'm gonna check in with everybody. How's everybody doing? Everybody's good?
It's Friday.
It's Friday. It is Friday. Yes. This is a welcome Friday for me too. This has been an interesting week. Lot going on. but it's good to kind of have a space to kind of separate myself from all of that. And that's what being in this class does for me in a way. So,
Yes,
um,
ma'am. Me too.
you know what I mean? Kind of remind us that we are in that, not of that, but of ourselves. and and it's always good to kind of cultivate any opportunity to be reminded and connected to that idea. So hope y'all found y'all outlet to plug into. So good. So I wanted, let me get right into the what we have here. And I'm gonna put you guys, I think I'll put you all over here. And I think over here would probably be easier. All right. Let's see, I thought I saw, okay, no more people coming in yet. Okay. All right. So as I mentioned before, we're gonna continue on this series with prayer. We may have one more class after this just to kind of bring everything together. We'll see where we end up today, and then that'll help, I think, determine whether we'll have another class on prayer. And then we'll go into another kind of similar practice idea after prayer. And so we went over the Mojaba last time, and we talked about Mofuri Ballet and what that means. Does anyone have remember what Mofuri Ballet means? She pulls out the notes.
I thought I was out of the view.
You will not love. She was like, let me see.
My bad. But to put the head on the earth.
Mm-hmm. To put the head to the earth, to put the head to the ground. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. The act of propitiating is another way of putting. You'll hear Baba Willie or other teachers say at the act of propitiation, or putting one's head to the ground in reverence to the Orisha. Some lineages put head to the ground to ancestors. And again, in some Yoruba, traditional Yoruba households, if you're a child, you salute your parents. So you go on the ground, your head hits the ground to your parents. And ceremonially, it's something that's used to as a form of acknowledgement. I think not only of honoring, say, if you're saluting an elder, the Orisha on that person's head, but also even recently, I've thought about the fact that it also acknowledges the person's, in a way, growth. Like oftentimes in ceremony, you salute as a way to acknowledge something that's happened. Like, say, if you go through a process and you receive an Orisha, or something that's happening, or you're at a drum, or you're in some ceremonial kind of environment. So it's always in some ways connected to something that's facilitating growth. You're presenting to the Orisha in order to move forward in your path. That's also acknowledgement of putting your head to the ground. So it's a way of acknowledging. And I also always, some of you may know, I say sometimes that we're in a living space. Everything we're doing in connecting with is living. So even putting the mat that we put the mat is recording the experience even. So it's material, it's an innate object, but it's literally recording a moment where you're actually making some growth or some decision or some connection to the Orisha, to yourself, to your elders, to your ancestors. So so even though it's acknowledging in some ways hierarchical system is also acknowledging something that in you that's changing, something in you that's growing, something in you that's evolving. So Mofuri Ballet is gives us opportunities to remind ourselves that we're not in the same place we were before. Something has changed. Something is different. We are in a place where we're experiencing something different, and that is oftentimes a part of that acknowledgement of that change. So, so even thinking about that and keeping that perspective when we Mofori Ballet to our ancestors or to our elders or to the Orisha, keeping in mind that there's something happening, there's something changing. So if you go for 2 or 3 years without saluting anyone or anything, have you experienced changes in your life that maybe would have made that different? That's a question. Um, so, that's something to keep in mind, that that's an opportunity to connect with that idea of growth and evolution when we do that, when we perform that act and act in that posture. As I mentioned, also we did the Moji Ba. We went over the short Moji Ba last week, and I wanted to give a few brave souls an opportunity today to share if they would like to practice the Moji Ba. The class is small enough if it stays this small. I'll let Robert off the hook because he wasn't here last week unless he really wants to be froggy today. But because the brother can be froggy on occasion. I know.
Think I'll
So
pass.
he said the frog is not landing anywhere. The frog is staying still. The frog is observing. So so I understand. So it might be good actually for you as well to experience everyone else, going through the Moji Ba and you hearing it, seeing it spoken, and all of that. And so we're adding on to that today, Oriki, praise name. So I have a little thing prepared where, we talk a little bit about what Oriki is, how Oriki shows up in our lives, and how it's connected to prayer. I'm going to talk about how it's connected to prayer. And I also have a little fun thing to do at the end of that I hope you guys get a kick out of. Okay, any questions so far about our how we're moving forward today? My godson Eastside would say yes, but he's not here.
He
Okay.
definitely would.
Right? He would be like, yeah, I have a question. Okay. Let's see, anyone? I'm making sure I'm not missing anyone trying to get in class. Okay. No. All right. So I'm gonna mention the Moji Ba once. And Robert, to get you caught up, I think it's pretty self-explanatory, the translation, but if you have any questions about it, you can definitely ask them. One thing that we did mention before that I'll just mention briefly again, when we talk about Moji Ba Ba Ba, Moji Ba Ye Ye, that is in honor of our parents who gave birth to us, who are responsible for our being born and here. If you're talking to your mother and father, if they're passed on or if they're living, you still say Moji Ba Ba Ba, Moji Ba Ye Ye. If you haven't spoken to them in 15 years and they're alive, you don't have a good relationship with them, you still say Moji Ba Ba Ba, Moji Ba Ye Ye. If you're adopted and you have an adoptive family that you would like to acknowledge, particularly if it was from birth, you can say Moji Ba Ba Ba, Moji Ba Ye Ye. Even as you acknowledge your biological parents and origins, you can also have reverence for, in this instance, for your ancestors and for your adoptive parents as well. In my lineage, we accept adoptive parents as those worth being praised through the Moji Ba and saluted and acknowledged. So I just wanted to make mention of that. And so as I mentioned, this is the short Moji Ba. There are other aspects to it, but for someone who's just beginning to learn it, this is a good place to start. Because you cover all of the bases, and this is something that is used in ceremony. So this Mojuba is often used in ceremony. It's a way to have a broader kind of acknowledgement of those energies that we need to pay attention to and pay homage to, but also not going into all of the details. So the details would include all of the lineages that we come from in our bloodline, in our spiritual line. It would include other energies that you would acknowledge. Asheda Akoda, the disciples of Orunmila, who spread the word of Orunmila to the world. The progenitors of Odu and the knowledge of Orunmila and the Orishas to the world. So there's other pieces to it that you would include that I say whenever I do readings that, makes it a lot longer. But for the purposes of learning the Mojuba, this is a great place to start, is with this particular Mojuba. Okay, so again, if you have any questions, Barbara, you can ask them. Welcome, Antronika. We're kind of just getting started. We're reviewing just the Mojuba. I was going to see if anyone wanted to take a chance at saying it. I was going to start us off and go from there. Okay, so I'll start us off. And if anyone else would like to give take their shot at speaking the Mojuba, you can. Okay, I'll try to say it slower and not too fast. Okay. Mojuba Olorun, Mojuba Olofin, Mojuba Olodumare, Mojuba Baba, Mojuba Yeye, Mojuba Bogbo Egun, Kinka Mashe Iyalorisha. And then I would say, in this case, Ogongolo Yu, who is my godmother. Kinka Mashe Ojubonakanmi. That, and then I can say her name, Oshunleye. Kinka Mashe Oba. So that is if you're in a place where you're acknowledging a person who's overseeing the ceremony. Kinka Mashe Bogbo y Moro. And the Spanish way of saying it is Bogbo y Woro. So if you hear Bogbo y Woro, that is the same as Bogbo y Moro. Okay? So I'll say it one more time. Mojuba Olorun, Mojuba Olofin, Mojuba Olodumare. Mojuba Baba, Mojuba Yeye, Mojuba Bogbo Egun, Kinka Mashe Iyalorisha Mi Ogongolo Yu, Kinka Mashe Ojubona Kanmi Oshunleye, Kinka Mashe Oba, Kinka Mashe Bogbo Iboro. Okay, so anyone want to try?
Actually, before we try, could I ask a question?
Yes.
About I'm going to switch to my computer in a second too. But when someone is deceased, so like my father's deceased, is Ibaye only for priests, or is it for anyone who's deceased?
Good question. So when someone has an Egun ceremony, and I'll answer your question by saying it this way. So
Okay.
When someone has an Egun ceremony, the Ibayes, when you might hear someone say Ibaye, Layen Tonu, and then the person says their ancestor name. And then the people who respond say Ibaye. meaning yes, we
Oh,
acknowledge the solution. So if you pay attention, that is what's happening in that time, right? Even so you can include, it does not have to be priests. If you want to acknowledge your ancestors, you can say Ibae Layen Tanu and acknowledge your ancestor. If I speak of my ancestors, just even in common speech, common conversation without prayer, I say Ibae after I speak of them. Even whether I say their name, and I say my mother said this or my mother did that, I'll say Ibae. Or if I speak of my grandmother, I'll say Ibae. So you can definitely use the term Ibae to refer to your ancestors. If you're standing in your ancestor altar and you're working with them and you're praying with them, you can use this prayer. And you can, after you say Mojimba Bogbo Egun, you can also say, I see you logging on. You can also say Ibai, after that you can say Ibae, and you can name their names. You can say Ibae and name, more than one name, as you've heard me do.
Recording in progress.
After that you can say Ibae. Or you can say Ibae Norris Pugh, Ibae Gwendolyn Sexton, Ibae Ma Dana Scott, Ibae Claire Marie Bajois, Ibae Adolphe Noel. However you want to do it. So, but if you want to acknowledge your ancestors and you're speaking with them, you can definitely say Ibae before you speak their names.
okay, I see. Thank you for saying that. I wasn't sure if that was like required. Because my father's deceased, been deceased for a while, so I was wondering if that was something we had to say after anyone who's transitioned.
Yeah, yes, because that's how I refer to my mother. I say Ibae after, and my father. So I whenever I speak of them, I say Ibae.
And Deidre, you say Ibaye after each person's name?
You can. You can, or because when I say, like when I'm divining and I'm praying, I may name 3 different people's names for different, because that's how I see them in my mind, either because of their relationship to each other or my relationship to them. Sometimes I'll say more than one name, but you can definitely say Ibae and name your ancestors one by one. Yeah. And it's also like I said, your relationship with them. Sometimes if you have like ancestors who are really close, who are brothers and sisters, or ancestors who were or siblings, or had a particular relationship with each other, if you say like if I said Ibai, I have my great grandmother was a twin. So if I name her name and her twin's name, that would be, because they're very close, right? And because we have twins that run in my family, so if sometimes I'll think of them, the twins in my family, as 2 people, and I'll say Ibaye so and so and so and so, and because of that acknowledgement of them as being connected. So it may be for various reasons you may not necessarily say Ibaye after each person's name. But that's just an example of an instance where you may choose to do differently. I hope it doesn't muddy the waters too much, but I want to also say that.
Yeah, I think I'll practice that another time. But I think, but I wasn't sure if I needed to do it for this. That's why I was wondering. Okay.
Oh yeah, so we're just doing the short emoji by this time. So you can say Ibaye Bobo Egun or Mojiba Bobo Egun. It's up to you. But this is just a very standard Mojiba prayer that can be used to help you learn to work with that, particularly for people who either have Orisha or will be at some point working with Orisha directly. Having the Mojiba is very helpful in that regard. Okay. So practice makes perfect. Just saying. But if y'all not froggy, we can move on.
I'll try it, but I just for clarity. Okay, so you said that the emoji bar would be like when working with Orisha or about to get Orisha. So it's not something necessarily that to do like at you would do at an ancestor altar.
Oh yeah, that's what I said.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I said you. Well, actually, thank you for bringing that up. You definitely can use this for your ancestor altar.
Okay. I was
You
getting.
definitely.
I want to spice things up over there. Oh, and then like when you give offering too, is that something that you can do?
Yes.
Okay.
You can say the Mojuba before you give an offering and say Ibaye and name your ancestors, and then and ask for no harm to come to. And you can say Kikamashe to my brothers, my family. This is a ceremonial Mojuba. So you can say Kinkamashe. I can say Kinkamashe to Gina, my sister. Kinkamashe to my cousins in California who are going through all kinds of stuff. Kinkamashe to my family who just went through, the hurricanes. You know what I'm saying? You can use that for your family with your ancestors in particular. If you want to say, I pray no harm comes to people in my family, you can definitely pray that to your ancestors. Absolutely.
Okay.
That's what they want to know. They want to be there for you and your family. So giving them that place is a beautiful thing.
Okay.
Come on, sis, kick it off. Let's go. We're waiting on this.
I'm trying to prolong it. Like, oh, okay.
Okay. That's great. They are great.
Okay, let me. Okay. Mojuba Olorun, Mojuba Olofin, Mojuba Olodumare, Mojuba Baba, Mojuba Yeye, Mojuba Bogbo Egun, Kinkamashe Ialorisha. I don't know your.
Oshunmuyiwa.
Oh, how do you spell that? Hold on.
I'll put it in the chat.
Okay. Look at me stalling again. Olorisha Oshun
Muyiwa.
Muyiwa me. Kinkamashe Ojubon Akan me.
That would be Iya Shabi, Ogongolo.
Okay, Iya Shabi.
Yeah, did you say Iya Shabi?
Okay. Kinkamashe Oba, Kinkamashe Bogbo Igboro.
Oops, I spelled my name wrong.
Oh.
Muyiwa.
Thank you. I put too many UUs. Okay, there you go.
That was great, Katie.
You did that thing, girl.
Thank you. I still keep hearing you and the rhythm of it, so I can't. I'm practicing till I get to that part because I like it.
You did very good. That was a very good Mojuba. Y'all gonna be ready, boy. When y'all grow and evolve, y'all gonna be ready. I know Dres can do it. He's just being chicken. I know he can do it.
No, I'm trying. I can't. That's a tough act to follow. My sister. How do we pronounce Iya Shabi? How do we pronounce Iya Shabi's name again?
Agongoloyu.
Agongoloyu.
Mm-hmm.
Agongoloyu. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna try. Agongoloyu. Okay. I'll try. Mojuba Olorun, Mojuba Olofin, Mojuba Olodumare, Mojuba Baba, Jose Antonio Hernandez, Mojuba Yeye, Deborah Ann Hernandez, Mojuba Bobo Igun, Kinkamashe Ilarisha, Oshun Muyiwami, Kinkamashe Ajubonakan, Agon Golorumi, Kinkamashe Oba, Kinkamashe Bobo Ibora. I tried.
You did good.
Appreciate it.
Then of course, the other elements you added, beautiful. You did good.
Yeah, are you you don't necessarily have to say their names in the Baba and Yeah
No,
Yeah.
you don't, but that was nice.
Okay. Okay.
That was nice. I'm thinking again also about things I've talked about in the past about really using your voice and giving your voice a place in this. When you do that with emoji bar, it's like you put yourself in this space in a way differently, right? Give yourself a different, almost different orientation to where you fit into your own growth, right? Feels different.
Yeah, can you spell Iya Ashabi's name?
In the chat, sure.
Yeah.
Now, if you see J-U, because that's how it's spelled, but it's but Spanish spelling is you, Ogongolo you. Ah, I did it again. Ogongolo you, because it's Oju speak, referring to the eyes. Okay. Okay. Any other questions, reflections? Before we
I
go on
like
to
that
the,
you mentioned using your voice, like it's pushing me to like do it. Especially starting, I keep raising my hand and then it raises my hand on here, so I need to stop doing that. Like starting with the Omi, when I learned the Omi Tutu prayer, I was just like, oh, okay. And then now when I hear it, I don't know, it just feels like a connection, and so I'm excited to get comfortable and learn this.
mm-hmm,
To again kind of bringing a connection to it.
mm-hmm. Yep. That's a good reflection. I think that's true. I think I know it was true for me too when I began learning prayers. Um, so I wanted to, so thank you for, doing that nice little refresh, and we may actually, again, we may decide to go this whole route again and during the next class, and just give everyone more chance to get more familiar and comfortable and connect to it. So now we're going to talk about orikis. And orikis are something that really, in some ways, they're different from prayer, but they're very connected to, because orikis can be more broadly used beyond just a focus on prayer. But how many of y'all heard of the Oriki Challenge? No? Okay, so I'm going to mention something a little later about that. But the Oriki is really a Yoruba, it's a very specifically Yoruba concept. And it's something that distinguishes the Yoruba's connection to literature, oral literature, even art, I would say, in a way differently, drama even differently from other ethnic groups in Nigeria and other parts of West Africa. It's a very specifically very Yoruba thing. And so there are Rikis for different types of aspects of living. So there are Rikis for war, there are Rikis for childbirth, there are Rikis for children coming into the world, there are Rikis for marriage, there are Rikis for, of course, for the Orisha, there are Rikis for acknowledging the sky, there are Rikis for acknowledging animals. There are Rikis for acknowledging pretty much anything that has reverence and value and speaks to how the people who from this area of the world think about and know themselves to be connected to something else in the world. So you have, so in a way, they're actually containers of history in themselves, the Arikis. So Arikis that have lived on since wars that have happened since in the past, like the wars that were part of the Oyo Empire, are actually repositories of history. So they tell us what happened during that time poetically. And they also give us a sense of what was important and to the people during who went through that process and what they preserved and what was important for us to know today. So, so that's why I say they preserve the past and connect the past to the present, because they give us a sense of what has happened and what we can make meaning of from what happened. So they can be important that way. And of course, they help us to emulate the Orisha in this case. They help us to give favor and through our own spoken word to the Orisha. And if, as I mentioned, they mark important milestones. So they mark when children are born. They mark when new chieftaincies come into the Yoruba tradition. So when the new Ataoja of Oshogbo, or the new kind of leader of Oshogbo, which is where Oshun lives in Nigeria. Ocean River is in Nigeria, and her worshipers are in Nigeria. There are Rikis that are spoken of his installment. Same with Oyo. Same if there's a new chief priest of an Orisha in a town, that installment of that chieftaincy is accompanied by Oriki. So it's a tool for prayer, but it also is a tool that Yoruba people use to acknowledge who they are and what institutions exist and how well they exist. So someone who had a great reign or had made great contributions have many Oriki that are spoken of them. Like Shango had many Oriki spoken of him, given what he was able to do for the Oyo Empire, which we talked a little bit about. Aganju has many Oriki spoken of him because of his contributions to expanding the Oyo Empire in the way that he did, and bringing a long peaceful reign to the Oyo Empire. So it's a way to, so Oriki poems are praise poems are ways for us to acknowledge things that really show excellence and that we show reference to excellence. And I also like to say that Arikis are very kind of, like I say, they can be praise poems that tell us about history and tell us about something that happened in history, and give us a perspective on that. But they also can be personal, very personal. They can give us, make the personal very public, right? So Orikis are not things that are kept to ourselves. They're literally ways that we give knowledge of something to everyone else, right? Because they're poems. So, if I'm saying a praise poem to Oshun, if I'm saying a praise poem to her, I'm not only recalling maybe the ones that are general to her, I may be saying a Riki to her about what she's done for me personally. I may be saying a Riki that speak of her power and presence in my life, and speaking of that in a way that's memorable, not only for me and how I speak of Oshun, but to others who hear it. So Oriki, when we talk about that, they can be, they should evoke something in someone. So when you hear an Oriki spoken of someone, they should make you feel some way connected to them, right? So they're really interested. That's why the Orikis of the past have had such longevity, because those Oriki are really kind of evoke either a image in your mind, a thought in your mind, a feeling about how something has made you feel, and Orisha has made you feel, and ancestors made you feel. So so when we think about Oriki, they're very important prayer because they embody so much of of how you can incorporate all these different aspects of your experience with something, but then also add that to your supplication. So some people like to say that Orikis actually can be agitators. And what I mean by that is that if you're working with an Orisha and you want that Orisha to really respond and feel connected to you, a really good Oriki can make that Orisha kind of stand up like, yeah, all right, I hear you, right? I feel you. Um, they can be agents. The Oriki themselves can be agents of change. And so the Orikis that have been passed on that we inherit are kind of like our lineage of the ways that we have been able to bring agency to our relationship to the Orisha. So every generally, if for many houses, Elays have their own Orikis that are part of their own lineage. The prayers that I say when I divine are prayers that are from that include Oriki that are from my lineage that I learned that work directly with the Orisha that I speak to. So when I speak to Alegba and I talk to him and I say certain things, when I'm about to open up to ask him to, support us in trying to work with someone who I'm divining for, the praise poems that I use in that moment of that part of the prayer are my way of connecting to my lineage, my past, right? And into the present, because I'm using the same Orikis that have been used by my ancestors, spiritual ancestors, and my elders. But it also connects me to an idea of what Alegba has been from the past to the present. And so when we think about what Orikis are and how they are agents of change, they also are agents that also show the traditions, right? So Orikis you can speak Oriki and be connected to Yeye Tolokum because she spoke the same Oriki. So they can be very powerful. They can be very powerful in establishing lineage and establishing connections and also establishing the ways that we work with Orisha that help them to recognize us not only for ourselves as individuals, but also as part of a lineage that we inherit and that we carry on through the ways that we speak to the Orisha. So, and I'd say an extension of that in terms of talking about how it reflects our knowledge and our knowledge of Orisha and ancestors is that if we learn about the Pataki and learn what those Pataki teach us, I've been going over Patakis with each Orisha, right? So if you recall stories from the Pataki and you talk about an aspect of a Pataki that speaks to the way we understand in a particular Orisha and how that particular Orisha shows up in the world, that is also a way that Oriki can bring together your knowledge of the Orisha with your praise of the Orisha. And so as you grow and learn about your inner alignment with the Orisha, Oriki can be a really powerful tool for that inner alignment because it can give you a way to kind of show yourself how much you've grown in integrating all of these different aspects of how the tradition shows up for you in learning about the Orisha, learning about their stories, learning about the praise poems of our lineage, learning about how all of that brings you into, like, you're the embodiment of that when you're speaking in Oriki to an Orisha and talking about what it is that Orisha, how that Orisha supports someone or supports you. And so so Oriki can be a really interesting and important thing. And so moving forward, we can talk, and actually I've introduced you guys to Oriki. So when I've, introduced some of the prayers oftentimes are Oriki. And I'll show you in a minute, actually. Oh, before I go to the next slide, I've given kind of some details on what Oriki, look like and how they show up. So does anyone have any questions about them? Y'all good? Okay. Well, if you have any questions, you can put them in the chat. I'm monitoring chat too. Okay. So here is an Oriki for Alekba. And Oriki also can show up as songs, right? So so when you see them, they can be sung, of course. They can be spoken, but they're always have a certain kind of depth to them. So here's one. Barasuayo. Barasuayo is vital force. Sorry if you hear my husband laughing, something's cracking him up. Vital force who far and wide appears. So you're acknowledging Alegba as this energy that is everywhere, right? Barasuayo. So when you talk to him and you say Barasuayo, you're literally talking about him as being some force that is everywhere, that no one can go anywhere without acknowledging or being a part of. Omo Yalawana, child that separates, splits, and divides the world. So again, that's acknowledging Alegba as the one who is the decider of fate and the decider of what happens in the world. So he splits the difference between everything that happens, and tests us. So that's another way that's another way. So these are ways to kind of acknowledge in a very kind of grand way how Alegba shows up for someone. Obada wa yo keishu, Odada omo Yalawana. Yalawena, I'm sorry, but it's Yalawana, Yalawena. So this is the vital force who comes to deliver us, forked sticks, Eshu, performer of wonders, child that separates. So these are, of course, literal translations, but this also speaks to how if you're in a bind, Alegba can save you. So he's the one that can deliver us. Forked sticks, I think of that as oftentimes when Alegba is referred to the one who owns the crossroads or the forks in the road. So that's an acknowledgement of him as being the owner of one who is at those deciding points in our world and in our life. So and the performer of wonders. So he's someone who can make something happen that no one else can make happen, So these are just kind of ways to kind of look at Alegba in terms of what an Oriki might look like. If you wanted to do something simple and talk to him about Alegba, you can talk about his different praise names. And you can say Alegba, owner of the crossroads, owner of all fate in the world, the one who sits next to Olodumare, the one who witnessed all of our destinies when we were born, the one who is a child and an old man all at once, the one who agitates us to greatness, the one who tests us in life, the one. So you can name even whatever you know about Alegba. Whatever ways Alegba shows up for you, you can talk to Alegba that way. If you know your Alegba's path, right? For some of you who have Alegba and you know your Alegba's path, calling your Alegba's path is a praise name. So you can say Alegba, Kokorobia. That is a path. Eshu Okun, that's a path for SUB. For me, Eshuaye. So when you talk about Alegba, you can literally open your prayers to Alegba, mentioning the actual path of your Alegba while you're talking to him, and that or her. In some cases, there are some paths of Alegba that are not male. And acknowledge that you are speaking to the Alegba that was born for you and to you. So, so there are different ways we can talk to Alegba. If Alegba did something for you, you know, like you prayed to Alegba, you talked to Alegba, you asked him to help you with something, and that something came to fruition, you can mention that in your praise poem, right? So you can integrate ways to talk to Alegba so that he can know that you recognize what he's doing for you, while also praising him generally for what he does as an Orisha. So you have that way of letting him know that you are connecting with him personally as well as generally. And Ago Laroye, make Bukenke. Ago Laroye Bukenke, make way for the owner of talkativeness. Alegba is the master communicator. We oftentimes open with a praise to Alegba that that acknowledges Laroye. That's another way of saying Laroye, the talkative one. You can, I like this one praise poem that I like to say to Alegba is Alegba Lako Mako, because I like to acknowledge that Alegba is the one who always knows, because he is. So that's one that I like to use. So even if I don't say any other Yoruba, I may only say that, because especially if I'm asking him a question, I say Alegba Lako Mako, because you're the one who knows. I'm asking you to give me the answer. So those are just some of the praise poems that you can use. So this one is, like I say, is oftentimes you can see it, you can see or hear it in a song. Because I'm used to singing it, it's hard for me to say it. It's weird to say. But I can sing this praise poem more easily than I can say it. Barasuayo, omo yala wana mama kenirawo e. Obarawayo eke eshuonara. Omo yala wana mama kenirawo e. So part of that wasn't in that because it's a praise poem, but you can see where what I was singing was as part of what you're seeing. So I wanted to give you guys the chance to ask questions if you had any about how to incorporate Oriki. This is just a first pass at it. We'll talk about it more. What's your question? Eastside, making your dad ask your question for you. I see what you're doing. What's your question? My dad wants to know.
No, I think that you answered it when you were singing it. I was like, oh, it's literally like it's a whole, almost like a toast. Not, I'm trying to think of an equivalent.
Yeah,
Like
that's a good way of putting it. It's like a toast. Like if you're talking to Oshun, Oshun, mother of brass, keeper of children in the womb, owner of riches and gold, owner of intelligence, owner of money, owner of possibility, owner of our divine mirror. Yeah, I can go on, of course, but that's a taste, right? Thinking owner of life's greatest possibilities, owner of sweetness, owner of honey, the one who teaches us to love, the one that teaches us to love beauty, the one who teaches us to love ourselves. So I'm saying something that's not in Oriki from my lineage. I'm saying something about what she's done for me when I say that. You see what I'm saying? Owner of the spoon that cooks sweet meals. She was Shango's favorite cook. Remember the story about her and Oba and the whole thing? She was the one. She was Shango's favorite cook. So yeah, so it can be, but thinking about if all the things we talked about with all of the Orisha, right? All of the different patakis we've gone over. What of those could you distill out of those to think about how they can be incorporated into a praise poem if you were to talk to Ogun? What are the things you learned? Even when I talk about who and what is Ogun, some of the things I incorporated, just even in that part of it, when the bullet points on who and what is Ogun, what did that say? How could you incorporate that into an Oriki for Ogun? So all of these things are ways you can kind of bring everything together, so that you can not only learn and grow from this, but also have it matter in your practice and in your praise with Orisha. Okay. Any questions?
I have something to say.
Yes, sir.
I feel like these classes are always super deep.
Yeah. Yeah.
you mean
And I understand what you're saying. And so it's like and that's a good question. I think I'm gonna take a little elucidate, if I may, from your point, and say that yes, there's a lot of information in these classes, and it's gonna take a while to take what you learn and make it have the ability to synthesize all of it. And that's why we say with this tradition, it takes a lifetime to learn. A lifetime to learn.
And you still might not even know all of it.
You definitely won't. And I won't. There are proverbs that say, all I know is I know nothing, right? And a lot of the emphasis in this tradition is on remembering that even though we study and we grow and we learn, there's always more to study, grow, and learn. Because as I've talked about before, the idea of expansion is a big idea in this tradition, that there's always, the idea of expansion implies that there's always more to learn. There's always something out there that you may not know that may enrich and enhance and transform your life. And that's why we say, when we say the Orisha, we don't know all of the Orisha. We say there are 400 plus one. And that plus one is the possibility of always learning that there may be more that we don't know, because the world is constantly expanding. And the tradition does not ever reward complacency. It never rewards complacency. And so the more we are committed to growth and practice, the more we understand of what we need to learn. And that's not just in the knowing of the Orisha and knowing of the prayers or the Ariki or the Pataki or the songs or the dances or the prayers or the mojubas, all that, but of ourselves, right? Ultimately, what this should do is be incorporated into our idea of ourselves that also changes. And we have to be open to where that change leads us. And that's part of what inner alignment is about, right? Learning that there's more that I'm going to have to accept about life that I didn't accept before. That's going to enhance my capacity to be better than I was before, right? For myself and for others around me. That's the idea. So yeah, we're deep. That's why it's deep, because we're deep. See what I did there? Yeah. So, and you have an opportunity to learn this from a young age and incorporate this from a young age. You know what I mean? Some people didn't get a chance to start until their 50s, you know? And they're going to learn and grow too, but my goodness, Isai, you know, you have a chance to really have transformational life that can hopefully save you from having to learn lessons late in life that you learned early. That's a great gift. That's a great, like your Ori led you to that. Think about that. So like I said, you deep. Right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Any questions, reflections, thoughts?
Well, I like to reflect. I think like hearing the prayers now, it's cycling me back to like when I first started and like the first prayer and rogation. I'm like, I don't know what to say, but now getting like more to it and experiencing like different ceremonies and now understanding. If y'all hear that, I'm so sorry. But it's now understanding like how the prayer works and getting a little bit more information about it. It's like I'm like, oh, okay, there is an understanding, because at first I was just so mind blown, and now it's like the puzzle pieces are starting to fit.
That's what happens. That's synthesis, right? That's like the way we start to give ourselves this patience in the space, right? Because I think it takes making space for it. Because there was a part of you that had to say, I'm going to make space for this, not outside of me, but inside of me. And who knows what makes that happen? It could be based some in ritual. It could be based some in having ritual experiences that also impact you in ways that you can't quantify. Sure, absolutely, actually. But it also is a willingness. It's a consciousness shift. It's a willingness that you have to do that. And that's what really, I think, in some ways helps the process to flow even more and grow even more. I know that was true for me. So, so that's a good point you make. That, you know, at some point this didn't feel like it would feel like it feels today, right? Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
So, yeah. So, here's something that I wanted us to consider doing. Oh, what did I do? Sorry. Here we go. Okay, I'm going to go back to the slides. Sorry about that. Here we go. So I would like for us to consider doing an Oriki for an ancestor. Okay. What do you guys think? Doesn't that sound interesting as a thing to do? So it doesn't have to be long. It could be, it can be, just like five lines. And like I say, make it playful, make it fun, make it loving. And think about when you write it, think about giving someone an idea of the person that makes them feel the way you want, the way you feel about them. Okay. So I'm going to put some music on and give everyone about, let's see. Oh, hey, Amber. I didn't see your face because I was on the, I remember letting you in. Hey, Antronika. I think I said hi to you already, I think. So I want to give, hey, good to see your name, if not your face.
Put me on the spot.
Oh, hey, little one. So I want to give us about 10 minutes. I'm going to put music on for about 10 minutes and give you guys some and I'm going to do one too. Give you guys a little time to come up with a nice little Oriki for an ancestor. How does that sound?
Hey, Deidre.
Yes.
Definitely love that idea. It is right on time. Especially, I'm getting ready to go on a fast. And today is my granny's birthday. So I definitely would love to do that. However, I am driving right now. So I'm gonna have to.
Oh, you are, yeah.
So I probably will be signing off a little prematurely, but I am definitely going to do that when I settle down. That's perfect for ushering in my fast and tribute to my granny. So this was excellent.
That'd be nice, yeah. And go for it. And if you want to send it, you can, or we can actually, if you guys want to, we can just work on them for the rest of today and present them next week. What do you guys think? You guys want to do that? So I'll just turn some music on and you guys can work on them for this week.
Yeah, that makes sense. But Eastside said he wanted to practice the Mojuba.
Oh, okay.
I didn't say
Sounds good.
Look, me and Katie already did ours. It's your turn now.
I know he could do it. He could do it. I don't want to put you on the spot if you don't think you're ready, but
He said he'll try it.
Oh, you want to try now?
And then we can do it.
Okay, let me turn off the music real quick. All right.
Praise for doctor.
Shall I put it back up? Okay. All right.
I was wondering if for the ancestor thing, if
delay fish cause delays.
Ancestors have to be dead.
Ancestors are by definition people who have passed on.
Okay.
Yeah. So that answers your question. All right. Let me. Did I share? I shared it. You guys can see it. Okay.
All right. Peace and blessings, you guys. I'm gonna sign off. Good luck to you, young man.
Bless up, bro. Good to see you as always.
All right.
Peace.
Okay.
All right.
He said he got it. I was trying to review with him. He said he got this.
Okay. All right. Let's go. I'll put that in you.
Make sure, wait, you got to clear your throat, get up to the mic. You got to do this right.
Moji,
Oh, sorry. Okay. Okay, yep, I did it again. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, there you go.
Yeah, no.
Okay. Mojuba Olaru, Mojuba Olafin, Mojuba Oludumare, Mojuba Baba, Mojuba Yeye, Mojuba Bobo Igun, King Mashe, Ya Larisha, me. What? Oh, King Mashe, Ya Larisha, Oshun Muiwa, me. King Mashe, Ajibona Khan, is SUB, right?
Mm-hmm. There you go.
SUB me. King Mashe, Oba, King Mashe, Igbo, Igbo Ro.
Ashe.
I was ready for you. You wasn't ready.
We wasn't ready. Good job.
Thank you.
All right, all right, all right.
Yeah.
Okay, so y'all ready to listen to a little music and for one of my favorite groups, Orisha groups, and do a little work on your Oriki for your ancestor.
Mhm.
All right.
Ia,
Uh-huh.
can you change to the slide about the ancestors? Thank you.
So, uh, How y'all doing? How's it coming?
I'm writing about his dad, my grandpa.
But he's never met him, so he's reading his obituary right now.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's cool. Yeah, that's cool. I thought about that. I was like, oh, I don't know if he's if you're going to if you know many, because you're at an age where you may not know too many folks in your family who passed on. But reading obituaries is one way to do it for sure. That's a good idea.
I
Oh,
think
oops. I didn't mean to do that.
better food.
Say again.
Oh, never mind.
You sure?
Yeah, he was asking how to spell Mafete Fum, but I was like, you only say that for the Orisha.
Oh, yeah. Generally, we reserve that for the Orisha, but I'll share with you. I'm gonna put it in the chat. But you can say my Fede Fumbogbo Egun. You can say that. This has been a fun exercise for me too, getting to think about, because the first person that came to my mind was my great grandmother. So this was fun. I think I might be ready to share it. I might be. I might be. Give y'all a little taste. What you think? Should I share it? It's rough.
Yes, I think you should share.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. Mom, I'm gonna try to do this so I get emotional because I actually knew her, right? She was a really important person to me. All right. Mama Scott, daughter of Mary and Boston, mother of Odessa, mother of Norris, mother of Clarky May, mother of Lars. No man could hold you. You jumped fences with Pappy until you reached California from Texas. She was from Texas. You stirred the pot to local politics to make my childhood taste sweet. You made deals with dealers to keep the broken crack pipes from beneath my feet. Your gingerbread melted in my mouth. Your activism made it safe for me to play outside when the porch lights came on. I praise you. We praise you. Thank you for oiling down my mother's newborn skin so she would live and so that I would live too. Mojuba. I think that's it. I might do a little tweaking, but that's what I wrote. I got some of this. Yeah. Yeah. She was a very important lady. I talked about her stirring the pots of local politics. She fought for a law that ended up being enacted in the state of California that allowed people of different levels of mental ability to vote. So she was one of those people. She had her way, you know. She was one of those old school activists, and so I learned a lot about activism from her. Very quietly would go to pool halls and, you know, tell the pimps, take your stuff elsewhere. You know, she was one of those kind of ladies. She did not take tea for a fever. I should have put that in there, Riki. Everyone can relate to what that means. Okay, so I might have a more refined version or maybe one for another ancestor. But I think I'm gonna put this to my great grandmother at the shrine, at my shrine, just when I finish it. I think I'll do that. All right. So I look forward to hearing your Arikis next. Well, I think we're gonna meet next week. I think it should be okay. I think next Friday should work. So I look forward to hearing your Arikis next week.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that was beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you. You don't know what you have in you till you pull it out of you. Because I don't consider myself to be very poetic, but she's worth it. She's worth it.
Yeah. Can I
Mhm.
speak? Because I don't know anyone specifically. I only know what I was made. I mean, how I felt. So can we write based on like the essence of those ancestors?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
You'd have a rich story to tell from that. Just from
I'm
what
trying
little
to.
I know about your ancestors, you'd have a very rich story to tell just from that perspective.
Yeah, I'm trying not to. I don't want it to come off like disrespectful, but that's what they were like.
It's the truth.
So I
Or-
wrote something. So
Yeah.
it's a rough draft though.
Okay. You want to share before we go?
I don't
You
know
want to
if
wait
I
till
wrote
next?
it correctly. I can try. So, um, ew. Uh, the first is Queen Mothers. Uh, uh, Community lovers, chief protectors, wild warrior women, take nothing from no one. Uh, I don't know if I wrote this right, but kitchen soul snatchers, they were known to be women who could cook really well, especially from scratch. So I don't know if that makes sense yet. So I
Oh
have to
yeah.
rewrite that.
I caught it before you. You didn't have to explain that to me.
So that's a rough draft trying to uh get the essence of all of those women.
That's perfect. Wasn't that perfect, y'all? You use yours was sharper actually. I'd say I was, because I was thinking of my experiences. I wasn't thinking in like words that can literally, a word that can hit you so that you know exactly what's happening. That's a beautiful rendering of how Reiki works too. You can say one word, and that one word can expand somebody's mind in a way that that they think about not only the person, but also the way the person is in relationship to the word. So that was perfect. Y'all see where I'm going with that? How she did that, how she, the words just like, oh yeah, okay.
I kind of cheated y'all, so I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I know what Oriki challenge you're talking about. What Lovey, because
Hello, that's what it was. That's her name. I couldn't
I was
remember the
gonna
name.
ask if it was Lovey's challenge. I wasn't
yeah,
sure.
it's hers because she does them all the time, and I follow her on Facebook and I think
Yeah.
Instagram. But
She's
she
Yoruba, if
had
I'm not mistaken. Or she's Igbo.
yeah.
Yeah. Uh,
I can't remember exactly, so I don't want to miss speak on that. But yeah, she's the one who like does a lot of Orikis. So I kind of cheated, try to go back to the thing and try to put it into my own words as far as what
No, but
the women ancestors
that's
were
the
like.
idea. That's the idea. That's the idea. Yeah, that's the idea. You did well. That was great. All right. So thank you all. I look forward to hearing your Orikis next week. And all the best to all of you. Oh, and congratulations to Eastside on receiving his eBay. Congratulations.
Congrats, Eastside.
congratulations.
Yes, the absolutely most adorable eBay you've ever seen.
Yeah, I do. It's true.
Showing the picture.
Yeah.
Yeah, the picture of he's gonna try to show a picture of
You
the
can show them,
when
you can show
when he
them, you can show
purchased
them the
them.
dolls if you want. If you
Yeah,
want to
he
show
just
them the dolls, you can.
he just had the picture when he purchased them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he doesn't have a. So we were in a.
Oh, it's because they're at the house. They're okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, there they go. They're super cute.
Those are adorable.
They are absolutely super cute.
Was that the ceremony this past weekend?
One of them, yeah.
Oh man, I wish I could have been there.
See, we missed you, Katie.
I was not feeling well. I told
Yeah.
I really want to go, but I am not feeling well. And then my fiance was sick the whole rest of the weekend, so it was kind of good that I stayed home.
Yeah, Axiel's good, yeah.
Actually, we missed all of y'all. So we all of y'all.
I was going to be there, I promise.
There's more opportunities not to miss each other. That's always a good thing.
But no, Antonique is not in Chicago, right?
No, she's not permanently anymore. So
okay.
she comes, she flows through when she can.
Gotcha.
She'll be back in a little bit. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Alrighty, y'all.
Thank you.
So I really enjoyed this class with you all, and I look forward to talking more about prayer and Reiki and all of that, and give yourself a chance to think about ways you can incorporate a Reiki if you were going to. And even if it's the way Antonica did, where she literally took those words and made them like punchy, or if you start out with just phrases that give an idea of who the person was, if you're addressing your Orisha or your ancestors, think about ways you can do that. Okay. All right, to y'all. Until next time.
Everybody have a great weekend. Thank you.
Thank
you.
Family.
Yeah, is there a specific day or like this weekend to meet, or should I just text you to follow up?
That's right. Let's text.
Okay. All right. Bye, everybody. Sorry.
All righty. That's okay.
We just saying
bye.
bye. Y'all take care now.
Take
Yeah, can I
care.
ask you a question?
Sure.
I don't know if I'm able to ask this in a group. It's just us. Never mind.
It's just